was able to score 75. There is some different strategy which I prepared theory notes for the 4 papers before actually writing my own paper. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we will talk about the CA final paper 1, that is financial reporting, in which I was able to score 79 marks in my exams, which was in May 2022. So let's first talk about the classes. I took my classes for this subject in December 2020 from Praveen Sharma sir, and my attempt was in May 22. So I had quite good amount of time for the revision also, because this subject FR is very vast and it has a lot of chapters, a lot of indices which are very lengthy and which requires a lot of practice again and again to get on the concepts. That's why I took classes for this subject in December 2020, which gave me a lot of time to revise the subject before exams. I was able to revise my FR subject 3 times before even my study leaves. So that's why I took classes very early. Important thing which I felt that I should have done while watching classes was to make a separate notebook for the theory part and for the practical part. So since I took classes from Praveen Sharma sir, he used to make us write theory part of the indices in a notebook, and I used to solve the questions in the same notebook. When it comes to revision, that becomes quite difficult because my theory part of the indices and practical questions of the indices were in the same notebook, and that wasted my time because I have to flow up pages again and again whenever I want to revise my theory part. So I suggest that you can prepare a separate notebook for theory and a separate notebook for practical questions. There might be cases where you are not writing theory part of the indices in the notebooks. You might have a concept book, so there is no need of that theory notebook. But in case you are writing the theory part of the indices, then I suggest you to prepare a separate notebook for the theory part and the practical part. And of course, we should do the homework of all the questions, whatever we are studying from our lectures. So let's say we had completed 1 index or 2 indices, so simultaneously do the questions of that index as well. So now let's talk about the revision before the leave period. As we all know that FR is very vast subject and it has a lot of indices and very big indices as well, like the business combinations and amalgamation, etc. That's why it requires a lot of practice so that we can have the formats in our mind and the concept as well intact. Because in my case, I had took classes in December 2020. And if I prepare for the FR in January 2022, then it will be a lot of time gap and I will forget all the concepts. So these revision played a very important role in my good scores in FR. Now let's talk about what should be our approach for the revision, which is before our leave period. Revision in between classes, in between our office. So I'm talking about that revisions. In those revision, I suggest is one should first read the theory part of the index and then jump on the questions. After reading the theory part, if you are not able to crack the question or you have to see the solution for cracking the question, then you should mark the question for the next revision. In my revision 1, I used to mark the question as revision 2 for revision 2. And in my revision 2, I used to mark the question as revision 3 for revision 3. And in this process, I've collected quite good amount of questions for my last day revisions. So in my last revision, whatever questions I had marked, in my study leave period, I have practiced only those questions. Let's come to the preparation before the exams, that is in our study leaves. In that period, I have already shared my 3-month strategy. I have bifurcated my 3 revision of each subject in some block of time. Like for first revision, I have allocated 5 days, and for the next revision, I have allocated around approx 3 days. And so on. For FR, there is some different strategy which I followed. Since in my case, I had a notebook which has the theory part and practical part together, it was very difficult for me to revise it quickly in the 5 days and practice questions together. So what I did was I had prepared theory notes for the indices. I had prepared these notes in my first revision in my study leave period. So then I thought that I should prepare some notes which are only the theory part of the index and which only contains the crux of the index or the important topics or the important pointers which are usually asked in the questions. Apart from the questions from my book, I have also solved questions from the MPPs, from the RTPs and from the past year papers. Apart from this, I have also practiced December 21 and the July 21 paper by actually sitting for 3 hours and then checking it with the suggested answers. This was in addition to the mocks of my attempt. So basically, I can say that I have practiced 4 papers before actually writing my own paper in the May 2022. So the practice plays a very important role because paper comes is not very difficult, but it is very lengthy. Only thing which I left was my balance sheet total was not matching. So I left that part. So I strongly recommend you to please practice the paper, practice the mocks, practice the past year paper, because the struggle is to complete the paper. If you are able to complete your paper of 100 marks, then your score will be out of 100. And in case if you are not able to finish your paper, then your score will be out of those marks only. So please focus on your practice so that you can complete your paper well. One more thing on the revision lectures. I used to watch a lot of revision lectures on YouTube because I had taken classes in December 2020. There was long back. So I used to forget the concepts. It's completely okay to forget the concept and you can revise your concept by watching few lectures on the YouTube, etc. I used to do that in my study leave period as well. Instead of wasting time in struggling into that concept, I can make that concept clear by watching any YouTube lecture or revision lectures so that I can use my time effectively. So that was it for the FR. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope that this video was value addition for you. Do give it a thumbs up and subscribe the channel. Thank you.